What's going on, everyone? Welcome into the Fantasy Pros YouTube channel. My name is Kyle Yates. It's week 15, the semifinals of your fantasy football league. We've got a lot of football to talk about. I had to break out the old Mariota Oregon Ducks jersey in honor of his performance on Thursday night. Guys, this is going to be a fun hour. We're going to talk some football here. We are going to make sure that you are prepared for your fantasy football matchup. Before we get into the injuries, the actives, inactives, and answering your questions, I am going to fly through questions today, guys, because I know that you have a ton of them. We need to say this. If you have not subscribed to the Fantasy Pros YouTube channel, please take 2 seconds out of your day. Hit that subscribe button. Also, hit the like button on this video. The energy, we got to keep it going, guys. We need to get more people in here. We need to hit the like button. We need to make sure that we are energized. So please take half a second. Hit that like button. And then again, you can find and follow me on Twitter at KyleYNFL. Let's get into it. I'm going to fly through the actives and inactives because we did have some information here breaking over the last half hour. I know that some of you are just tuning in. You weren't able to check out Dan's Instagram chat at 10 or Mike Taglier's YouTube live stream at 11. So I'm just going to fly through these and make sure that you're at least up to date, okay? Daniel Jones, not expected to play. It's going to be Colt McCoy at quarterback for the New York Giants. The only player that you should, only two players that you should be considering starting on New York are Wayne Gallman and Evan Ingram. Deebo Samuel, he's ruled out. Zeke, this is the big one. Ezekiel Elliott was just ruled out at 11:30 Eastern. So now we are going to see Tony Pollard. As of right now, I have landed with Pollard at RB25 in my running back rankings. There's a possibility that as we go throughout this next hour, that as we receive more information, get a little bit, and I'm talking through chat too with Dan Harris and Mike Tagliere, there's a possibility that he might move up here, but yet at the same time, I think he's probably going to end up as that low-end running back too. If you were looking at starting Zeke and Pollard is somehow still available on your waiver wire, make sure you go get him. Alex Smith is out for this one. We're going to see Dwayne Haskins. It doesn't matter for Terry McLaurin. You start him. Antonio Gibson's out. J.D. McKissick is a mid-range running back 3 for me. Kyle Rudolph, Irv Smith, you can plug in as a streaming option. Damian Harris is out for this one. Sony Michel, you can roll with as a, again, mid-range running back 3, someone who I think should see plenty of volume, but otherwise this is a game that I really want to try to avoid if at all possible. Mike Gesicki, Jakeem Grant, and Devontae Parker, all for the Miami Dolphins. Ruled out, not going to play. That was kind of the expectation heading into this game. There was some optimism, and then now we just got word that all 3 of those players are going to be out. The only player on Miami that I'm even remotely considering playing is Lynn Bowden, the running back, wide receiver, quarterback, versatile weapon here for Miami. He's the only guy that I'm considering playing, and he is a high-end RB3 that does get a bump up in full PPR leagues. Julio Jones, you knew he was out. Kenny Golladay, you knew he was out. Duke Johnson's out for this one. You can plug in David Johnson as a low-end running back too because you also have CJ Prosise out for this one as well. David Johnson should see plenty of work. Michael Thomas, ruled out, placed on IR. So, yeah, for those who were wanting Michael Thomas to come through for them in the fantasy football playoffs, not going to happen here. Emmanuel Sanders gets a bump up into mid-range wide receiver 3 territory for me, and then Traquan Smith is a solid flex play, but otherwise it's not really an offense that I'm super excited about or think that you can like just plug in Emmanuel Sanders right where you were going to plug in Michael Thomas. And then Brandon Allen, you're going to see Ryan Finley for the Bengals on Monday night. I'm sitting all Bengals if I can. Ryan Finley, not good. Game time decisions. Again, I'm going to fly. Jamison Crowder. I'm not playing a single New York Jets. Wide receiver, running back, quarterback, tight end. Don't play any of them. David Njoku, doesn't matter. James Conner is the big one here. Game time decision for Monday night. If you have another option, I'd probably pivot and go with him. Benny Snell, you're going to have to wait. And if you have another better option, I think you might be fine just going with that other option. You know, let's say that you had Benny Snell and Tony Pollard. Well, now you have a little bit more clarity here where you can plug in Pollard over Benny Snell. Jimmy Graham expected to play, not really on the fantasy radar. James White, Savon Ahmed, both in that New England-Miami game, expected to play here. James White, not really confident in him as a low-end running back 3. Savon Ahmed, again, I really don't want to attack this backfield. I don't know what the heck it's going to look like, and I don't know how much this offense is going to be able to move the ball without their top 3 receivers. So I think with Savon Ahmed, he's a mid-range to low-end running back 3 for me. Not excited to play him. Matthew Stafford is going to play. This is good news for Marvin Jones, but outside of that, and TJ Hawkinson, outside of that, DeAndre Swift is a mid-range running back 2. You can still get away with him, but yet at the same time, I'm Not really excited for, I'm not playing Stafford. Let me just put it that way. Adrian Peterson is expected to play, but you're not playing him. Jack Doyle is expected, and Mo Alley Cox are expected to play. You're not playing them. Chase Edmonds is expected to play. You're not playing him. Austin Hooper, not expected to play, not playing. And then I mentioned Evan Ingram. You can plug him in as a low-end tight end 1, high-end tight end 2 with Colt McCoy at quarterback. Okay, let's get into your questions, guys. Again, please take the 2 seconds out. Oh, we're already over 100. We're at 123 likes on this video right now. Guys, thank you so much. Keep it going. And again, please subscribe to the YouTube channel if you have not done so already. Let's get into it. Terry, both non-PPR leagues. I've got 2 for you. James Robinson, Montgomery, or Hilton at the flex. So let me just answer that. In a standard league, I think that you can get away with Montgomery. I have Montgomery 2 spots above James Robinson, and then I have Hilton in my flex rankings a little bit further down. I think you can absolutely get away with Hilton over those 2, but yet, me personally, I'd be playing Montgomery. I'm expecting a big game from him here. And then the other one, Raheem Mostert or David Johnson at running back 2. I'm going to play the matchup here. Raheem Mostert doesn't carry an injury designation into this game, so I think that you can play Raheem Mostert in a game where Dallas is allowing 5.1 yards per rush attempt on the season. Like, yeah, get Raheem Mostert into your starting lineup. So I have him a few spots above David Johnson. James Robinson versus Akers. I'm playing Robinson there. I'm playing the volume. Akers, I have a little bit further down than ECR. I'm sure I'll talk about him in a little bit. For the flex spot, Sony Michel, Gus Edwards, or Lynn Bowden. Depends on the format here. So if it is a standard league, I'm not really looking at Lynn Bowden. I'm going to play Gus Edwards there. If it is a full or half PPR, I will probably... A half PPR, I'll actually still go Gus Edwards with Mark Ingram a healthy scratch, which is what I expected. Oh my word, guys, you just jumped up 100 likes on this video. Thank you so much. With Mark Ingram out, it's going to be J.K. Dobbins and it's going to be Gus Edwards, and Justice Hill will see like 3 to 5 touches. He's not going to factor in at all, but plenty of scoring opportunities here in a game that Vegas expects Baltimore, and of course we all expect to go up big and stay up big. So Gus Edwards, I have at RB24 in my half PPR rankings. I think that you can absolutely start Gus Edwards over Sony Michel and Lynn Bowden. In a full PPR, I would go Bowden. Bowden, not really sure. Standard league, Mostert, Jeff Wilson, or Gus Edwards. I will go Mostert there. Breeze or Hurts. I've got Hurts 1 spot above Drew Brees, so I will play him just due to the rushing upside. I'm not expecting a huge week here from Jalen Hurts, as the Arizona Cardinals now have a game of film to be able to go off of here, but I think that you can still get away with him over Drew Brees in his first week back without Michael Thomas. Half PPR, pick 1, Traquan Smith, Lynn Bowden Jr., or Jalen Reagor. I'm going to go Lynn Bowden there. Question, I'm assuming this came in earlier, Lynn Bowden or Zeke? Well, you now have your answer that Zeke is out. Not happy with my running back situation. Should I stick with Zeke and James Conner or consider Sony Michel? So at this point, I would probably just play Sony Michel, honestly. I don't think that James Conner is going to play in this game, and if he does, I don't know what his full health status is going to be like, and he hasn't looked great when he's been on the field. So I'll just play the volume play here with Sony Michel and hope that he gets a ton of work. Need to start 1 running back in full PPR, Wayne Gallman, Raheem Mostert, or Jeff Wilson. I'm going to play Raheem Mostert here. I think that Wayne Gallman is the other guy that's in consideration for me, but yet with Gallman, he could make up for it in full PPR. He could reel in a few passes here, but yet at the same time, I think that Raheem Mostert could easily score 2 touchdowns in this one. I don't think that's going to happen much. I don't think that's going to happen with Wayne Gallman and Colt McCoy at quarterback. Okay, so I will go with Raheem Mostert. Standard league, tight end, Hawkinson or Mark Andrews. I've got both these guys as top 5 options, so it's a flip of the coin. Go with your gut, but I will personally be playing Mark Andrews. And then Ayuk or Jefferson. I've got Ayuk in my top 10 now, guys. I've got Jefferson just outside of that range, so I will start Ayuk over Justin Jefferson. Love the matchup. Cooper Kupp or Terry McLaurin. I'm going to go with Cooper Kupp. McLaurin, I think, is still fine. I've got him as, I think, a top 15 receiver. He's going to be fine. He's quarterback proof. We know this at this point. So, and it's a great matchup, but yet with Cooper Kupp up against the Jets, yeah, you start Cooper Kupp. I've got Woods and Kupp both as top 12 receivers. Standard league, pick 1, Cooper Kupp, Deontay Johnson, or Chris Godwin. I'm already playing Ayuk. I'm going to go Cooper Kupp here again. You will have 2 of my top 12 receivers with Ayuk and Kupp. Standard league, Big Ben or Jalen Hurts. I will play Big Ben here. QT, Jeff Wilson, or Raheem Mostert. Pick 2. QT, Jeff Wilson, Raheem. I will go with QT and Mostert. even if it's a standard league, I think I'll still go QT and Mostert. I think Wilson is still a fine flex play, but I've got him just a little bit further down. So let's put this into context. I have Raheem Mostert at 19, and then I have Jeff Wilson at 33. And this is more so to do with just the other options that have moved up. Like Tony Pollard jumped up. Leonard Fournette has jumped up. Lynn Bowden Jr. has jumped up. Sony Michel, right? Like these guys who I know have the guaranteed role. Whereas Jeff Wilson, he's the backup running back. Yes, he's still seeing a ton of work. Yes, it's a fantastic matchup. So I still think that you can get away with Jeff Wilson. He's just a little bit further down here in my rankings. Good morning. I'm streaming a quarterback this week, and I'm looking for upside. Trubisky, Hurts, Mayfield, or Tannehill. I'm going to go Tannehill. So there is the possibility here that you see Derrick Henry break the single season rushing yardage record in this game. Slight exaggeration there. But no, I think with Tannehill, I've got him higher. You're playing the matchup here. When you're streaming a quarterback, you are looking for the path for him to finish with immense upside. So with Tannehill, Jeffrey Okudah, the corner for Detroit, and Desmond Trufant, both out for this game. The Detroit Lions defense is terrible. Now, they have a terrible run defense, but their pass defense isn't even any better. So Tannehill with A.J. Brown and Corey Davis, they could easily finish with 3 passing touchdowns for Tannehill. That's kind of what you want. I've got Tannehill in my top 10. Trubisky at 12, so he would be the next guy that I would consider there. I like Trubisky this week, but I'm going to give the slight edge there to Tannehill. Again, there is the possibility that you do see Derrick Henry take all the touchdowns here, but Tennessee has a very, very high implied point total, and it would be just like with Trubisky up against Houston. No, it wasn't Houston. Who was 2 games ago? Detroit. Where you saw David Montgomery and Cordell Patterson score 3 rushing touchdowns apiece, right? That only left 1 left over for Trubisky. There's a possibility that happens with Tannehill, but that's a risk you take when you're streaming some of these quarterbacks, okay? So I'm still going to play Tannehill there, but Trubisky would be next up. PPR, Goddard, Logan Thomas, Irv Smith, or Jared Cook. I will go with Logan Thomas here, even with Dwayne Haskins. I think that you've just seen Logan Thomas be too involved in this offense. They don't have many other passing options. And then it would be Jared Cook for me. With Michael Thomas out, I think he has an excellent chance of finding the end zone. Then I would go Goddard. Then I would go Irv Smith. They're all in the same range. They're all low-end tight end 1s, high-end tight end 2s for me. Hi, Kyle. Kyler Murray or Tom Brady? Great question. I can't remember off the top of my head, so give me 1 second here. I have Kyler Murray at 5, and I have Tom Brady at 6. So I think that you can still go with Kyler Murray. Here's the reason why I think you can go with Murray over Brady. Darius Slay out for this game. DeAndre Hopkins could easily see 16 targets and multiple scores. And if Kyler Murray can pick up 50, 60 rushing yards, then that is something that just pushes him into that top 5. Even though this is a tougher matchup, I think Murray is the play here because Darius Slay is out. Tom Brady, still a fantastic play up against Atlanta. I really like Brady, but yet I think you can go Murray there. But again, it's close, so go with your gut. I recommend Murray. Washington DST versus Seattle or the Arizona DST versus Philadelphia. I'm going to go with Arizona here. I think that Washington can get after Russell Wilson and the pass protection that he has, and I think that they can force or they can get several sacks. But with Arizona, I think that they're going to try to keep Jalen Hurts contained in the pocket and force him to beat them as a passer. And I just don't, from what I have studied with Jalen Hurts, going back to his time at Alabama to Oklahoma, I just don't think that that's going to happen here against this defense. So I think that I would personally play Arizona. They're both low-end options for me, but I think I would give the slight edge there to Arizona. PPR pick 2, Miles Sanders, Tony Pollard, Cam Akers. I will go with Miles Sanders, and I will go with Cam Akers there. Tony Pollard a little bit further down. Need to start 1 in half PPR. Brandon Cooks, James Conner, or Lynn Bowden. I'll go Brandon Cooks there. I think that he's a safe option, and I think that Lynn Bowden, you're kind of projecting, you're guessing a little bit here. Again, all signs kind of point to him being force-fed targets because there's no one else to give the ball to, but yet at the same time, that's a little bit of a guess. And James Conner, you don't know if he's actually even going to play in this game or what his full health status is going to be. So I'll go with Brandon Cooks here. Kareem Hunt or Tony Pollard in full PPR. As of right now, I'm going to go with Kareem Hunt. I think that could change as we get more information as we move throughout the hour. And I kind of see like where ECR lands on Tony Pollard. That's part of this too. Like as I have my gut reaction, right? As just kind of a peek behind the curtain here, like my process. Like I have my reactions, I have my thoughts, I have my where I kind of think Tony Pollard is going to land. And again, that for me, initial reaction is that that's our RB25, right above Leonard Fournette, and then Lid Bowden at 27. So I think that Tony Pollard, that's where he's going to land. But ECR, I want to see where that lands. ECR stands for Expert Consensus Rankings, takes all the rankings from experts across the industry and gives that aggregate, that average. And I think that if Tony Pollard ends up at like RB16 in ECR, well, that will be for me like, okay, I'm too low. Like I'm missing something. I'm off on Tony Pollard. Like I need to readjust and I'll raise him up. As of right now, I've got Kareem Hunt at 20 and I've got Tony Pollard at 25. So I think you can go with Kareem Hunt confidently over Tony Pollard, but that could change as we move throughout and I get word on where exactly Tony Pollard lands in ECR. I won't know that until I'll check that again at like 12:45 Eastern, okay? All right, Chris Carson, J.K. Dobbins, James Robinson, or Thielen. I need one running back and one flex. James Robinson is the highest ranked running back for me. I have him at 10. I have J.K. Dobbins at 12. Here's the thing. So it depends on what you need to. Like Robinson brings a safe floor, tougher matchup. Calais Campbell not going to play in this game, which opens things up a little bit for the running game. But James Robinson, you know that he's going to get 20 touches, right? Like that's just kind of a locked-in guarantee. But you don't know how effective he's going to be. Is he going to be able to find the end zone? J.K. Dobbins is the one you play if you need that upside. If you played Keenan Allen, you swung for the fences on this player, it didn't pay off in the early games, you need to make up for it and you need that upside, then I think that's where you go with J.K. Dobbins because he has an excellent chance of seeing 15 plus touches in this game in a fantastic matchup. Excuse me. And he can find the end zone once, maybe even twice. So I think with Dobbins, that's where you kind of go if you need that upside. You could see him take a back seat, though, to Gus Edwards finding the end zone a couple times. So that's why I've got him a little bit lower than James Robinson. James Robinson's a safer play. But yet, if you need the upside, I'll go with J.K. Dobbins. And then for your flex, in a half PPR, I think you can go with Thielen. Now, if you want to play both Dobbins and James Robinson, I'm fine with that. Thielen has a tougher matchup against Chicago, but he came through the last time they played. So I'm going to go, personally, with James Robinson and Thielen, but if you need that upside, I'll go Dobbins and Thielen. Corey Davis, Lynn Bowden, or Marquise Brown in a full PPR, I'll go Corey Davis there. Again, you have the possibility that he takes a back seat to Derrick Henry in the run game, but yet this matchup, who's going to be able to guard A.J. Brown and Corey Davis on Detroit? It's not going to happen, so I'm going to play Corey Davis there. I've got him in my top 18 wide receivers. Marquise Brown a little bit further down. Chris Carson, Montgomery, or Dobbins in PPR. I will go with Montgomery there. I've got Montgomery as a top 8 option. I've got Montgomery at 8. I've got Dobbins at 12, and I've got Chris Carson at 14. Cody Mason, hey, good morning. Yates, good morning. Should I start Bowden or Sony Michel in my running back slot in a standard league? In a standard league, I'm going to go Sony Michel there. Bowden takes quite a bit of a hit in standard leagues. He gets a significant boost in full PPR. I don't think he's going to see many or any carries on the ground, but Sony Michel should easily see 12 plus touches in this one on the ground, and I think that's enough to get it done in standard to finish as a mid-range running back 3. Non-PPR, Kirk Cousins or Jalen Hurts. I'll go Jalen Hurts there. I'll just go with the rushing upside there. I've got, in the matchup, I'll go Jalen Hurts. I've got Hurts at 15. I've got Cousins at 18 or 19. I'm worried about Russ versus Washington. Should I start Hurts over him? Let's talk about Russell Wilson. I'm concerned too. His ECR earlier on in the week was at like 5 or something like that. I had him down at 9 the entire time. ECR has climbed back down to 9. So we are looking at Russell Wilson, and we're saying he's not a sure thing up against this Washington pass defense and with the way that this offense has looked here recently, right? So what I'm going to say, I got the question earlier, okay, do I start Russell Wilson? Do I start Mitchell Trubisky? Here's my thing. I want to stay measured as a fantasy football analyst, and I want to give you the percentage chances, right, of who you play and who can come through and finish with a bigger game. Based on Russell Wilson's talent, based on the weapons that he has, everything. With Chris Carson back, you have Rashad Penny back too, that could take some pressure off of Russell Wilson to just create and try to force things, right? So I think the percentage chance of Russ finishing as within the top 10 is more than it is with Trubisky, and it's more than it is with Hurts. Now, can Hurts or Trubisky finish within the top 10? Absolutely. but the percentage chance of that happening is a little bit smaller. So if you want to take the chance and you want, because it is a chance, don't, hear me. It is a chance that you start Hurts or Mitchell Trubisky. I'm a little bit more confident in Trubisky over Hurts, but yet if you take the shot, you have to deal with the potential outcome here, right? But I'm not going to fight you over it because I am concerned about Russell Wilson in this matchup. Again, I wouldn't recommend it, but I'm not going to fight you if you start Jalen Hurts or Mitchell Trubisky over Russell Wilson. Lynn Bowden Jr., Jeff Wilson, or Irv Smith in PPR in a tight end premium league. I will go with Irv Smith in that case. In those situations, you kind of want to just lean into the league settings there. With Kyle Rudolph out, I think Irv Smith, and again, it's a fantastic matchup for opposing tight ends. The Bears are allowing, I think, the third most fantasy points to opposing tight ends this season. So, yeah, I'm going to start Irv Smith there. He has an excellent chance of finding the end zone, and I think he brings a safe floor. So I'll lean into the league settings there. I'll start Irv Smith. David Montgomery or Jonathan Taylor? I'm going to go Jonathan Taylor here based on the matchup, based on his workload here recently. I think he has number one overall running back upside this week. I do like Montgomery. I have both of them as top 8 options, but I'm going to go Jonathan Taylor. Gus Edwards, Sony Michel, Tony Pollard. You need one in a standard league. I'm personally going to go with Gus Edwards right now. I want to play the matchup here. I'm going to play the possibility that this, or I talked about this earlier this week, that this is now a 2-headed monster versus a 3-headed monster. And with 2-headed monster backfields, right, with these backfields that have 2 solid options, we can find fantasy value in those. Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, those backfields do care. We're talking about Raheem Mostert and Jeff Wilson Jr. today, right? Like both of these guys can be started. It's when you have 3 of them, where we were talking about the San Francisco running back backfield earlier on this year, the Los Angeles Rams with Cam Akers, Darrell Henderson, Malcolm Brown. Like that is where it's really difficult to find the fantasy value. Now that we have Mark Ingram eliminated from the conversation, we have a little bit more clarity here. And I'm going to play the matchup here with Gus Edwards. I think he finds the end zone, especially in a standard league. I think Gus Edwards is the play here. I would be Tony Pollard, and then it would be Sony Michel. Should I start Amari Cooper or Emmanuel Sanders in a standard league? I'm still going to go Amari Cooper here. With Zeke gone too, potentially could open up some targets in the passing game. Pollard's probably going to soak up quite a few of them. He's a fine pass catcher in his own right. But I think Cooper has now found the end zone in 3 or 4 straight games. You still play Cooper here. I've got Sanders a little bit lower in my rankings. Dallas Goedert, Irv Smith, or Logan Thomas in PPR. I'm going to go Logan Thomas there. Lockett or Evans in a standard league. I will go with Evans there. Lockett is at wide receiver 16 in ECR. I've got him down at 24. And even that, I'm like, I don't feel great about that. Lockett has finished inside the top 30 wide receivers once out of the last 7 games off the top of my head. So you are absolutely just rolling the dice with Lockett this week. I'm going to play the matchup here. I'm going to play with Evans going up against Atlanta. I'm just going to play his involvement in this offense. He's bringing a safe floor every single week. He's getting targeted in the end zone. I'm going to play Evans pretty easily over Tyler Lockett this week. Hello Yates, Godwin, McLaurin, or Jefferson. You have Montgomery in your flex. I have Montgomery. What was the format? Didn't say. Okay, so Godwin, McLaurin, or Jefferson. I have McLaurin at 15. I have Jefferson at 13, and I have Chris Godwin at 19. So I'm kind of like Jefferson. He burned you last week a little bit here. Terry McLaurin does have the quarterback question a little bit, right? Like, what does Dwayne Haskins actually look like? Last time we saw him on the field, it didn't look great. Chris Godwin has plenty of other mouths in his offense that he has to deal with. Jefferson, the last time he played Chicago, actually put together a solid performance here. I'm going to go Jefferson. I think he's too talented to sit in your fantasy football playoffs. Again, these are all top 20 plays. For me, really solid options, but yeah, I'll give the slight edge here to Justin Jefferson. Who do I start as my wide receiver 2? Calvin Ridley versus Tampa Bay or Allen Robinson versus Minnesota? Julio is out, but Robinson has a great matchup, and then you put in parentheses, bad quarterback play, non-PPR, thanks. Actually, so Trubisky, let's talk about this. I know that he has this reputation of a bad quarterback, and I'm not going to really fight you on that. But yet, at the same time, over the past couple weeks, we've seen Matt Nagy really lean into actually like listening to Trubisky and starting to do the things that he's He's molding his offense around what Trubisky does best, which, novel idea, and rather than trying to force him into what he isn't, right? As a pocket passer, sit back there, go through your progressions. That's just not Trubisky. That's never been what Trubisky is. He hoped that he could develop into that, and then we saw Nick Foles, who is that, step into this system, and it stunk. So it's more so the system stinking rather than... Anyway, so with Trubisky, you're starting to see them roll out. You're starting to see him create on the move, get him on the run, and play action, a ton of play action, and it's opening up the offense, and he's actually making really smart decisions. Rather than trying to force the ball downfield, he's taking what the defense is giving to him, and this is a great matchup up against Minnesota. So I think that Robinson, you're looking at Robinson matching up against Cameron Dantzler, the undrafted free agent cornerback out of Mississippi State. He ran a 4.6 40-yard dash at the combine this past year. Allen Robinson, you might see Harrison Smith, or Anthony Harris cover over the top. You might see a little bit more coverage there against Allen Robinson to try and support Cameron Dantzler, but yet Robinson's too good to sit. I really like Calvin Ridley. Don't get me wrong. I think Ridley is a top 8 option, but it's a little bit of a tougher matchup up against Tampa Bay. I'm willing to go Allen Robinson here versus Minnesota over Calvin Ridley. Let's find some more questions. Gus Edwards or Wilson? Jeff Wilson, half PPR at my flex. I'm going to go Gus Edwards there. Wilson, Edwards, or Gage in a standard league. I'm going to go Edwards there still. Tony Pollard or Deontay Johnson in a standard league. I will go with Tony Pollard here. Let's talk about Deontay Johnson. I am concerned. I think that what you're going to see from Pittsburgh here is you're going to see Deontay Johnson and Juju for sure on the field to begin the game. And I think you could see a mixture of James Washington playing over Chase Claypool. I have Chase Claypool well below ECR. I'm very concerned about Chase Claypool and James Washington playing above him. Now, with Deontay, here's the thing. What happens if Deontay Johnson drops one pass? Because I think at that point, you could see him ride the bench again. And that is just a really, really risky play in Week 15. In your semifinals, when you need your lineup to hit on all cylinders to be able to get to the Fantasy Football Championship, I've got Deontay Johnson at 25 in my rankings right now. I've got Juju Smith-Schuster one spot above him. With Pollard, especially in the standard league, I think you can lean into that and lean into his guaranteed volume over someone like Deontay Johnson. Tony Pollard's not getting pulled during this game, right? Deontay Johnson absolutely could. So I'm going to play Pollard over Deontay Johnson there. Goddard, Irv Smith, or Cole Kmet in a full PPR? That is a great question. All those guys are jammed together in my rankings, so let me double check where I've got them. I think Goddard is the answer here, but I'm just double checking. I've got Goddard at 12, I've got Irv Smith at 14, and I've got Cole Kmet at 15. All are solid options, all are great streaming candidates, but yeah, I'm going to go with Goddard there. Full PPR pick 2, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Raheem Mostert, Nyheim Hines. I will go with Mostert and CEH there. Both of them are low-end running back 2s, though. I don't really see the appeal here with Nyheim Hines. He could break away, a long catch and run here against Houston, but yeah, at the same time, what have we seen from Nyheim Hines and his involvement in this offense recently? He's taken a complete backseat to Jonathan Taylor here. I've got Nyheim Hines at like 30 or 31 in my running back rankings this week. I'll play CEH and Mostert. And then pick 2, Mike Evans, Amari Cooper, or Robert Woods. I'm going to go with Robert Woods and Mike Evans. I've got Amari Cooper at 22. Whereas Robert Woods is in my top 12. Mike Evans is at 16, 17. Full PPR flex, T.Y. Hilton, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Gallman, Sony Michel, Deontay Johnson. I'm going to go with T.Y. Hilton here, especially in a full PPR. I've got Hilton up at... I think he's at 15. He might actually be at 15, which he's at 16. I've got Mike Evans at 17. T.Y. Hilton at 16 in my rankings after I have faded T.Y. Hilton all season long pains me so much. But yeah, this is a fantastic matchup. I don't think you can get away from Hilton. Tony Pollard, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Adam Thielen, or Corey Davis in the flex. I'm starting Justin Jefferson and Dalvin Cook. I'm fine going Thielen there. Or Thielen would be my answer, but if you are starting Justin Jefferson and Dalvin Cook too, I really don't want to put all my eggs in the Minnesota Vikings basket, especially up against Chicago. So I think I'll go Corey Davis there to pair with Justin Jefferson and Dalvin Cook. What's up, Yates? Deontay Johnson or Kareem Hunt in the flex? I will go with Kareem Hunt there. Again, talked about it with Deontay Johnson. I have my concerns. What happens if he drops one more pass? I think he can ride the bench, and he might not see the field again. It's a concern. Wide range of outcomes with him, right? Like, he absolutely could stay on the field. This could be a bounce back game for him. He could play with a chip on his shoulder, and he could come through. But yet, at the same time, he could absolutely disappoint. I really want to look at another option if I'm debating between Deontay Johnson and someone else in that range. Montgomery or Deontay Johnson as my flex in a full PPR. I'll go Montgomery there. Swift, Fournette, or Mostert in a half PPR. I'll go DeAndre Swift. Fournette is at 26 in my running back rankings. Mostert is at 19. I've got Swift at 17. PPR league, Deontay Johnson or Rashard Higgins. Okay, so this is where it gets a little bit more, I talked about Deontay Johnson and someone else in that same range. Rashard Higgins is at 41 in my wide receiver rankings. He's more of a flex play for me that could come through, but yet at the same time, he's not a guarantee, right? Where Deontay Johnson, I have at 25. So I'm going to let my rankings speak for me there. And the percentage chances, I'm going to let that all kind of play out. I'm going to start Deontay Johnson in that situation. Montgomery, Cook, Carson, and Robinson, pick 3 in a full PPR. I'm going to go Montgomery, Cook, and Robinson. DeAndre Swift or Terry McLaurin, I will go with DeAndre Swift there slightly. I do like Terry McLaurin still this week, but yeah, I'm going to go with the just guarantee. I know that DeAndre Swift is going to see a ton of work in this game. Miles Sanders or J.K. Dobbins. Great question. Those guys I know are back-to-back in my rankings. I just can't remember which one I put ahead. I have J.K. Dobbins at 12. I have Miles Sanders at 13. I will start J.K. Dobbins. Full PPR, flex Montgomery or Scary Terry. I'll start Montgomery there. If I'm going to start Swift over McLaurin, I'm going to start Montgomery. What's up, Yates? Deontay Johnson or Kareem Hunt in the flex? I think I just answered this one. That was Kareem Hunt for me. Need 2, Jeff Wilson, Brandon Cooks, Russell Gage. In a full point PPR, Jeff Wilson, Brandon Cooks, Russell Gage. I will go with Brandon Cooks and Russell Gage, especially in a full point PPR. I'm going to let that break it for me. Jeff Wilson, probably not going to be involved much in the receiving game. Brandon Cooks, I think, can come with a safe floor. And same thing with Russell Gage. I think he can soak up targets in this one. Amy Wheeler, Akers, Deontay Johnson, Gallman or Landry in the flex full PPR, and then already played Eckler and Davis. So you're looking for a little bit of upside, right, to compensate for Eckler and Davis. Both kind of disappointed here. They were in fantastic matchups, fantastic spots. Both fell a little flat. So I think you need to swing for the fences here a little bit. I think that Akers is probably your next best option. Now, I have my concerns. I said we would talk about Akers. Let's talk about Akers. The New York Jets' run defense is actually a pretty stout unit. They're allowing 3.9 yards per rush attempt this season, which is the 4th fewest in the NFL. And then they've only allowed one 100-yard rusher this season and 2 rushing touchdowns since week 6. So they are pretty stout up front. Where you want to attack them is their secondary. And that's why I really like Robert Woods this week. I really like Cooper Kupp. I think you can get away with starting either tight end too as streamable options. I don't know which one's going to come through. I've got them ranked at like 16 and 17 because I just don't know which one it's going to be. But yet I think you can get away with either of them. Cam Akers is at like RB10 or RB11 in ECR. I have him at RB16. So I still think that you can start Akers. However, I'm not going to get too carried away here with what we saw last week and 31 total touches. We can't pretend that Sean McVay, or we can't ignore the fact that Sean McVay could come out here and say, okay, this game is out of hand. We've got passing touchdowns in the first quarter to both Robert Woods and Cooper Kupp, and now we're up big. I don't need to lead. We're going to make a deep playoff push here. I don't need to wear out Cam Akers and give him 30 touches again in this game where we're going to be running the ball for the majority of the next 3 quarters, right? So you could see Darrell Henderson start to factor in again. You could see Malcolm Brown start to factor in again. So with Akers, you're betting on him to start him all the way up in your top 12. You're betting on him finding the end zone, which has not happened much since week 6. You're betting on him being extremely efficient, which has not happened much this season because it's a solid run defense. And then and then you're betting on him seeing the majority of the carries, which just isn't a guarantee because of the projected game script here. So, however, with all that being said, you do have the possibility that Sean McVay just goes, screw it. Let's give Cam Akers 31 total touches again. And in that case, I'm going to bet on that because Deontay Johnson could absolutely disappoint you. Wayne Gallman, not a great offense. I don't think that he's going to come through in a big way for you. And Jarvis Landry absolutely could, but yet at the same time, I don't think he carries the upside that Cam Akers does. So to double back to your question, Amy, I will start Cam Akers there after you've already played Eckler and Davis. Okay, here we go. Full PPR, Deontay, Tyler Boyd, or Marquise Brown. I will play. My rankings still say to start Deontay Johnson. However, if you want to pivot and you want to play Marquise Brown, I'm not going to fight you on that. I think Marquise Brown is in an excellent chance. He's going to play in this game. Excellent matchup. Excellent spot to just smash. I think that you can start Marquise Brown, but my rankings would say I'm going to play Deontay Johnson. Tyler Boyd, with Ryan Finley at quarterback in this matchup, I'm not starting any Bengals receiver. I've got Boyd outside my top 50 wide receivers on the week. Cam Akers or Tony Pollard at the flex, I'll go Cam Akers there. Robert Woods or Terry McLaurin, I'll go Robert Woods. Kenyon Drake or Leonard Fournette in a full PPR, I will go with Kenyon Drake. Worried about the Baltimore defense. A lot of inactives. Would you play Miami instead? I think you can get away with playing Miami over Baltimore. I still think that you can. It's Baltimore up against Jacksonville, so I think you can still start Baltimore. That's probably where I would still recommend. If you're concerned about it and you want to pivot, Miami's a solid option. Cam Akers or Justin Jefferson, I'm going to go Justin Jefferson there. Jeff Wilson Jr. or James Conner or Lynn Bowden in a full PPR, I'm going to go Lynn Bowden there in a full PPR. Full PPR flex, Jeff Wilson or Antonio Brown. I'm going to go Antonio Brown here. Great matchup. Hope that he finds the end zone. Tannehill or Watson. I will go with Tannehill there. Need to lock it. Boyd, Claypool, or QT. T.Y. Hilton. Or you said T.Y. I don't know if that's thank you. I don't know if that's T.Y. Hilton. I'm going to assume that it's thank you. Otherwise, I think you would have said Hilton. Half PPR, you need two of them. I will start Lockett, and I'll start QT there. Lockett should still see 5+ targets in this one. Always comes with the upside that you can come through. Tough matchup here. Tyler Boyd, I just mentioned I'm not playing him. Chase Claypool, I'm super concerned about this offense and the fact that we're seeing James Washington play above him. So, man, I don't want to. It's a complete swing for the fence if you play Chase Claypool. Can pay off if he finds a deep pass for a touchdown, but yet at the same time, I don't want to bet on that. QT should be heavily involved in this offense. Should be heavily targeted. I'm going to go with Lockett and QT there. Hilton, Godwin, or Gage. You played Allen, Keenan Allen, and you need a boom plate. I will go in that situation. I'll go with T.Y. Hilton. I think that Hilton can absolutely just come through. It's up against Houston. He's destroyed Houston throughout his career, and he's starting to really connect here with Phillip Rivers recently. I don't think they're going to have an answer for T.Y. Hilton. I think you start Hilton there. Tannehill or Brady? I will go with Brady slightly. I have Tannehill. Where do I have Tannehill? I have Tannehill at 7. I have Brady at 6. So, yes, I will go with Brady. Full PPR pick 2, Wayne Gallman, Leonard Fournette, Chris Godwin. I will go with Godwin, and I will go with... I will go with Gallman. I've got Gallman slightly above Fournette in my rankings. PPR flex, Chris Carson or T.Y. Hilton. I will go with T.Y. Hilton there. Please help with DST. Start Colts defense versus Houston, the Titans defense versus Detroit, or Miami versus New England. I'll go Miami there. Hey Yates, Clyde Edwards-Helaire, or Juju Smith-Schuster. I will, in a half PPR, I'm going to go Juju. I think that he's going to come with a safe floor. It's an excellent matchup. I think you can go with Juju there over CEH. I'm concerned about CEH in this matchup up against New Orleans. Pollard, Mostert, or QT at the flex. Full PPR. Thanks and greetings from Germany. Thank you so much for tuning in. Tony Pollard, Mostert, or QT at the flex. I'm going to go Mostert there. Even though it is a full PPR, I think that Mostert is absolutely just going to come through for you in this matchup. So I'll play Mostert there slightly over Tony. It would be Tony Pollard then next. So if you want to go with your gut and you want to start Tony Pollard over Raheem Mostert, I'm not going to fight you on that one. Swift or Pollard in a half point. I'm still going to go DeAndre Swift here. Hello, Yates. Who would you start, Kyler Murray or Ryan Tannehill? I'll go Kyler Murray there. Tony Pollard or Kareem Hunt in a half PPR. I'll go Kareem Hunt. Hey, Yates, thanks for all you do. Absolutely. Need help at my flex in a full PPR. Jeff Wilson or David Johnson? I'll go David Johnson here just because you do have Duke Johnson out. You do have CJ Prosise out. So then Buddy Howell and David Johnson. I think you see Johnson reel in 5 catches in this one. I think that that's certainly in the realm of possibilities. In a full PPR, that's going to bring a safe floor along with his work on the ground. I don't think he comes off the field. Yates, Pollard, Godwin, or Gus Bus. In the flex, I will go with, in a half PPR, I will go with Godwin there. Pollard, I've got Pollard in one spot behind Gus Edwards right now. I said I would check on Pollard's ECR. Let me check on that. I'm going to play, in this situation though, Jim, I'm going to play Pollard. Or I'm sorry, I'm going to play Godwin. All right. Hey Yates, full PPR, Jeff Wilson, Pollard, and David Johnson for one running back, one flex. Choose two of them. Cook is my RB1. I will go with, in a full PPR, I think you can go, Tony Pollard's ECR is still at RB27, so it hasn't come up yet. I'll stick with Pollard at 25 in my running back rankings heading into today. So, all right, back to your question, Matt. Full PPR, Jeff Wilson, Tony Pollard, and David Johnson. Choose two of them. So I will play Pollard and David Johnson there. Full PPR, pick two, T.Y. Hilton, Tony Pollard, Cam Akers. I will play T.Y. Hilton, and then I will play Cam Akers. Full PPR, CEH or Fournette. I'll play CEH there. Mark Benishek, Hello Yates, half PPR, Fournette or Connor. I'm just going to play Fournette here. Even though James Conner could play in this game, I don't think that's a guarantee. And I don't know if he's really going to be super effective. So I'm going to play Fournette there. I've got Fournette at 25 or 26 in my running back rankings. And then I've got James Conner a little bit further down just because I don't know if he's going to play. Full PPR, Chris Carson or Raheem Mostert. I will play Chris Carson there. QT or Rashard Higgins. In a non-PPR, I will play QT there. Monica Herrera, Help Yates, Bowden, Marvin Jones, or Michael Pittman Jr. Pick one in a full PPR. I will go with Lynn Bowden Jr. there. Hey Yates, please pick two, Drake, Dobbins, or Hunt in a half PPR. I will play Dobbins, and then I will play Drake. Ahmed or Gronk in the full PPR flex. I'll go Gronk there. Gronk, obviously, like 2 targets last week, 1 catch, 2 yards, but the touchdown. Brady only threw the ball 23 times, and I don't think that's going to happen again here. I think you're going to see Gronk more involved here. And again, he has as good of a chance of finding the end zone as any other tight end in the NFL. So I will start Gronk. Megan McVay, half PPR, you need upside. DJ Chark, Traquan Smith, or Gus Edwards. Chark, I can see a path for him seeing 11-plus targets in this one. Traquan Smith absolutely could find the end zone, but the percentage chance of that happening, I think, is pretty slim. Gus Edwards is probably going to be my answer here if you need the upside. I think that he can easily find the end zone once, maybe even twice in this game up against Jacksonville. So I will go with Gus Edwards there. If you need that upside, if you need like the solid safe floor, I think Chark is probably your option because I think he's just going to soak up targets, but it's a tough matchup. Pick two, Chase Claypool, Rashard Higgins, T. Higgins, or Tony Pollard. I will play Pollard for sure, and then I'll play Rashard Higgins. I don't want to play Claypool. I don't want to play T. Higgins. Hey Yates, Goff, or Hurts. I will play Goff there. Fantastic matchup. I've got him inside my top 12. And David Johnson or Tony Pollard. I will play David Johnson. Let's find some more questions. Mostert or T.Y. Hilton. I will play T.Y. Hilton. Yates, I played Keenan Allen. Eric says, pick one. Jeff Wilson for his flex or Godwin or Metcalf for full point PPR. Jeff Wilson Jr. in my flex or Godwin or Metcalf. Metcalf. If I'm only picking one of those, then it's Metcalf for me. I've got him as a top 4 wide receiver. Juju or Dobbins in full PPR flex. Davis let you down at the running back position. I will go with Dobbins there because of the upside if you need to compensate. At quarterback, Rivers, Hurts, or Ryan. I will go slightly here with Phillip Rivers. I think I've got him one spot above Jalen Hurts. PPR, 2 of James Robinson, David Montgomery, and J.K. Dobbins. I will play Montgomery and James Robinson, especially in a full PPR. I think that he's more of a safe play. Dobbins is the one that you play if you need to swing for the fences. Cleveland at the New York Giants defense or Indianapolis versus Houston. I'll play Cleveland there up against Colt McCoy. They're going to be motivated too. This is a fun storyline to watch. You got Freddie Kitchens, actually the one calling plays for this game, and then Colt McCoy as the backup quarterback too. I think that Cleveland is just going to be really, really motivated here to just pummel Freddie Kitchens. I answered that one. Standard league, need 2 running backs and a flex. You need 2 running backs and a flex. Miles Sanders, Tony Pollard, Kenyon Drake, J.K. Dobbins, Gus Edwards. Okay, so I will go with Dobbins, who I've got in my top 12. I'll go with Sanders, who I've got at 13. And then I will go with Kenyon Drake. Drake's seeing too much work here recently, guys, and he's finding the end zone 5 touchdowns in 5 games. So I think that you absolutely just continue to plug in Kenyon Drake into your starting lineup. I'll go with Dobbins, Drake, and Sanders. Please help Godwin or Jeff Wilson Jr. I will go with Godwin. The Seattle DST versus Washington or Chicago. Madison Williams asks. I will absolutely go with Chicago in that situation. I don't want to trust Seattle's defense. Even if they are playing Dwayne Haskins, I just don't want to trust it. Chicago's defense is immensely more talented. You play that. Matthew Hughes, Yates, who have been my fantasy MVP this year. Half PPR, running back 2, Tony Pollard, DeAndre Swift, or Raheem Mostert to pair with James Robinson. You're projected as an underdog, so you need a little bit more upside here. I think that if you need that upside, then I think you go with Raheem Mostert. I think that he could easily break away 1, maybe even 2 long plays here in this game and could easily find the end zone once, maybe even twice. So I've got Raheem Mostert. I've got him a little bit behind DeAndre Swift, but if you need that upside, you need to swing for the fences here, then I think you go with Raheem Mostert. Goff or Tannehill? I have Woods. My opponent has Kupp. I will go with Tannehill there slightly over Jared Goff. Edward Moraga, good morning. Kyle, who would you rock with? Full PPR tight end. Irv Smith Jr., Jared Cook, Tyler Higbee, Dalton Schultz. I will go with Jared Cook just due to his increased involvement over the past few weeks. He's starting to get back involved in this offense, and they're going to need him. And he can easily find the end zone, just like he does almost every other game. So I'll go with Jared Cook there. I've got Irv Smith, the next highest ranked, and then Higbee, and then Schultz. I don't want to play Schultz if I can avoid it. DJ Chark or Russell Gage in a full PPR. I'm going to go with Russell Gage here. Full PPR, Gallman or Pollard. I will go with Gallman there slightly. Deontay Johnson or T.Y. Hilton. I'll go T.Y. Hilton there. Pollard, Dobbins, or Smith-Schuster for a full PPR. I will go with Dobbins still. I want that upside. Thanks, Kyle, for all you do. Absolutely. Full PPR, hurting at running back with Jones and Gibson out. Pick 2, Nyheim Hines, Jeff Wilson Jr., Lynn Bowden. If it's a full point PPR, Lynn Bowden Jr. absolutely belongs in your lineup. And then if you want to, I think you can go with Nyheim Hines just due to his projected involvement in the receiving game. Jeff Wilson is a strong consideration there just because, again, you're kind of punting at the position anyway, just with the options that you have out above. So Jeff Wilson Jr., if you want to roll with him, he has to find the end zone. That's the thing. Like, for him to finish and actually like contribute for your team, he has to find the end zone. There's a good chance of it. But I'm going to play in a full point PPR. I'm going to let that projected pass catcher be my tiebreaker there. I'm going to go with Bowden and Nyheim Hines. Browns or the Dolphins defense. I will go, can't remember who I have. DST rankings, I really don't spend a ton of time on. So I will go with the Browns. I've got them at 5. The Dolphins at 6. I will go with the Browns. Standard Chris Carson or Cam Akers. I will go with Chris Carson. Slightly above Cam Akers. You need upside with the Devontae Adams and Curtis Samuel letdowns. Who to start at the flex in a full point PPR? Russell Gage, Tony Pollard, Nyheim Hines, or J.D. McKissic. If you need that upside, I really don't see how Russell Gage carries a ton of upside. I really don't see how Nyheim Hines carries a ton of upside or J.D. McKissic in this one. So that leaves Tony Pollard with the amount of work that he's going to see. You're just hoping that he finds the end zone. Excuse me. So I think I will go with Tony Pollard there. Sit 1, J.D. McKissic, Gus Edwards, or Clyde Edwards-Helaire. I will go with sitting one of them. I'll sit J.D. McKissic. Hey Yates, Jimmy Wong says David Johnson, Raheem Mostert, Russell Gage, or Lynn Bowden Jr. in a half PPR. I will start Raheem Mostert there. Full PPR start 1, Leonard Fournette, Kiki QT, Lynn Bowden Jr., or Antonio Brown. In a full PPR starting one of them, I will start, actually might start Lynn Bowden Jr. there. In a full point PPR, I'm going to start Lynn Bowden Jr. there. Hey Yates, thanks for all your help. Need help at quarterback with 4-point passing touchdown. Jalen Hurts, Ryan Tannehill, or Jared Goff. I'm going to go Tannehill here. I talked about him earlier. Just great matchup. Can't get away from the matchup here. I will go with Tannehill. Half PPR, you need upside. AB or Claypool. I'll go with AB there because I think that Claypool, your small percentage chance that he's actually going to contribute in this game with the amount of snaps that he's most likely going to see. Swinging for, I just said swinging for. Robert Woods, Jeff Wilson, or Corey Davis. I will go with Robert Woods there. Otherwise, I would go with Corey Davis. Full point PPR, wide receiver 2, Corey Davis, Russell Gage, Kiki QT. I'll go with Corey Davis there as well. Full PPR, Hawkinson or Hunt at the flex. I'll go with Hawkinson here with Matthew Stafford at quarterback, and TJ Hawkinson has just been producing like crazy, so I'll go with Hawkinson here. Fournette or Pollard in a half-point PPR. I've got Pollard one spot above Leonard Fournette. Two of these, Wayne Gallman, Deontay Johnson, or Tony Pollard. I'll play Pollard and Gallman there. Again, I've talked about Deontay Johnson a ton on this live stream that I'm super concerned, so I will play the other two options. Let's go. Need upside. Jared Cook, Logan Thomas, Evan Ingram, or Dallas Goedert. I'll go with Jared Cook if you need that upside. I think he can find the end zone easily in this one. Robert Woods or Jefferson. You need the upside. I'll go with Robert Woods there. Hey, it's Drake or Swift in a half PPR. And should I drop Goddard for Irv Smith Jr.? So I will go with Kenyon Drake over DeAndre Swift. I've got them one spot above. And then should you drop Goddard for Irv Smith Jr.? No, they're both in that streaming tight end conversation at this point. So I think that I've still got Goddard ranked 2 spots above Irv Smith. I think you can roll with Goddard today. Help Gage, QT, or Emmanuel Sanders. I will go with Gage and QT are really close in my rankings. I just can't remember how I have them. Give me just 1 second. I've got Kiki QT at 29, and I've got Russell Gage at 34. So I will go with Kiki QT there. Full PPR, Davis or McLaurin. I'll go McLaurin there slightly over Corey Davis. Jeff Wilson, James Romosa, thanks Yates, love your content. Half PPR, Jeff Wilson, Michael Pittman Jr., or Russell Gage. I will go with Russell Gage there slightly over Pittman. Pick 2, Pollard, Drake, David Johnson. I'll go Drake and David Johnson. Abby Jesberg, thanks for helping me make the playoffs. Absolutely. I love hearing that kind of stuff. Half PPR, T.Y. Hilton, Chris Carson, or Terry McLaurin. I'm going to go T.Y. Hilton and McLaurin here. I'm going to let the wide receivers play that. They're all very, very close in my flex rankings, but I think I'll go T.Y. Hilton and Terry McLaurin there. Hey, what's up, Yates? Half PPR, pick 2, James Conner, Brandon Cooks, Nyheim Hines, or Deontay Johnson. I will go with Brandon Cooks and Deontay Johnson in that situation. Dobbins, Montgomery. Let me find the question because it disappeared. Give me 1 second. I wanted to answer that one too, and I can't find it. I'm still talking. Can't find it. Okay, here we go. I just got to move on. Brandon Cooks or Marvin Jones. I'll play Marvin Jones there slightly over Brandon Cooks. Full point PPR, Godwin or Corey Davis. I will go with Corey Davis there slightly over Godwin. Great questions. These are really hard to answer. Emmanuel Sanders or Lynn Bowden Jr. in a half PPR. I will go with Bowden. Woods or McLaurin with Akers already in my lineup. I will go with Woods. Cooper or Landry in a full point PPR. I'll go Cooper there slightly over Jarvis Landry, but that is a coin flip. Go with your gut there. Full point PPR, Kupp, Woods. Just a few more questions, guys. Full point PPR, Kupp, Woods, Claypool, or McKissick. Pick 2 of them. I will go with Kupp and Woods. I'm fine playing both of these guys. PPR, Corey Davis or Tony Pollard. I'll go Corey Davis there. Fournette or Gus Bus. I will go with Gus Edwards. Miles Sanders or DeAndre Swift. In a standard league, you need a floor play. I'll go Miles Sanders there. Jeff Wilson, Savon Ahmed, or David Johnson in half PPR. You need the upside play. If you need a swing for the fences and you're fine with the potential that he doesn't find the end zone, then I think Jeff Wilson's probably your best bet at that upside. David Johnson, I think, is going to bring a safe floor, and I think he's your solid. He would be my answer if you hadn't included the upside play, but if you need a swing for the fences, then I think you go with Jeff Wilson, but don't be don't be surprised if you come up short there if you strike out. Flex half PPR, Pollard or Juju. I know Chris is hiding my question. Flex and a half PPR. Pollard or Juju? I will go with Juju there. Russell Wilson or Jalen Hurts? I talked about this one earlier. I am still going to recommend going Russell Wilson, but I'm concerned about the matchup. If you want to roll the dice and play the small percentage chance that Hurts finishes above Russell Wilson, then I'm not going to fight you on it, but I would still recommend that you play Russell Wilson. Greetings from Hungary. I need help. 2 wide receivers and a flex in a standard league. McLaurin, Marquise Brown, DJ Chark, Chet Hansen, Nyheim Hines, and Tony Pollard. McLaurin for sure. Marquise Brown for sure due to his upside in this matchup. And then I think that you can go with DJ Chark or Tony Pollard. I'll go with Tony Pollard in a standard league. I think that he can bring a safe floor with the amount of work that he's going to get. Last question. Let's make it a good one. Daniel Hotel. Hey, it's Tyler Lockett, Jeff Wilson, or Gus Edwards in a full point PPR. Thanks and greetings from Germany. I will go with in a full point PPR. Gus Edwards, I think, brings you the safest floor. If you want to swing for the fences and you need that upside, then I think Tyler Lockett. But don't be surprised if again you strike out swinging for the fences. So I'll go with Gus Edwards here, even at a full point PPR. I think he can find the end zone. Guys, thank you so much. We've got less than a minute before games kick off here and lineups lock. So I'm going to let you go and get to making sure all your lineups are set. If you have not done so, please subscribe to the Fantasy Pros YouTube channel. Hit that like button on this video, and please just head over to Twitter. Follow me at Kyle Y NFL. You can also find and follow me on Twitter or on Instagram as well at Kyle Y NFL. Best of luck in your Week 15 playoff matchups. Hit me up on Twitter. Keep me updated about your matchups. I love seeing if you come through with a victory, if you're heading on to the Fantasy Football Championship. That stuff matters to us. We love hearing that we played a role in making sure that you have a chance to be able to bring home your fantasy football trophy. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Enjoy the football. Enjoy the football this weekend, and we'll be back and talk to you soon.